taking action for you. 7 Action News at 11 starts right now.
Child shot. A young child sent to the hospital after a drive-by shooting on Detroit's east side. As police search for the suspect, what they're saying about the child's condition. Speaking out, people are demanding change after the announcement of the Detroit GM assembly plant closure, what they want, and how the plant may get new life after the shutdown. And frigid forecast. The cold continues to bear down on Metro Detroit. How long before we start to see a warm-up and when the wet weather returns?
Here we do begin tonight with the latest on that drive-by shooting in Detroit, sending a young child to the hospital. It happened this afternoon on the city's east side. 7 Action News reporter Simon SHKRELI has the latest on the child's recovery and his mother's plea for help.
Detroit police confirm that child is recovering after having a bullet pass through his leg. As we speak, he is here at Ascension St. John Hospital in temporary serious condition.
We're a nervous wreck. We're scared. My kids are scared. It's just a random shooting.
Raquel Smith is a heartbroken mother, speaking out after her 11-year-old son, Aaron Payman Jr., was shot in the leg in a drive-by shooting at about 4 p.m. Detroit police spent hours today searching for evidence here along Flanders near Chalmers on the east side.
Well, my son, he got shot in his left thigh. The bullet went in and came out. That's the good thing about it, it's not in.
Sources tell us the home targeted had 2 small children, 2 teens and 2 adults inside at the time. Aaron's mother is now fearing there could be more trouble for her kids. She started a GoFundMe page to pay for a temporary safe place to stay.
I'm trying to get a room for me and my family to be safe for a couple of days.
Sadly, people living here in this neighborhood say they've become accustomed to ongoing violence, a symptom of a larger problem involving crime. And they say neither the police nor local leaders have been able to deal with it. So far, Detroit police are not releasing any information related to a suspect description or even a vehicle the suspect could have left in. If you have any information about this shooting, contact Detroit police right away. From Detroit's east side, Simon SHKRELI, 7 Action News.
Simon, thank you. Right now, DTE responding to a hazmat situation on Detroit's west side. They're working to fix a couple of down power poles and a transformer that's leaking fluid. Now, it's on LINWOOD near the lodge, and DTE says at this point they do not know what kind of fluid is leaking. They've called out an environmental cleanup crew to help out. We're told there is pretty extensive damage to that area. General Motors workers making their voices heard after the automaker announces plans to close 5 unionized plants. Auto workers gathered this afternoon on Adams Street near Woodward. They spent 3 hours discussing the upcoming closures and how they plan to take action. They're also demanding accountability.
It wasn't that long ago that Lansing decided to give a substantial amount of money to some of our automakers, and so while I support job creation, if we're not holding them accountable to really follow through on their promise of maintaining those jobs, that's a huge problem.
14,000 blue and white collar workers are set to lose their jobs or transfer to another plant. The Hamtramck assembly plant and Warren transmissions operations, 2 of the plants, is set to shut down. Meanwhile, tech billionaire Elon Musk says he may be willing to buy one of those plants General Motors is planning to close if the automaker is willing to sell the property to him. Tesla actually bought a plant jointly owned by General Motors and Toyota back in 2010 for $42 million. It's now one of the company's main production facilities. However, Tesla struggling to meet its production goals as well. Well, it's a chilly night across Metro Detroit. Temperatures dropping. The cold continues, but there is a bright side to tomorrow. Let's get right to 7 First Alert meteorologist Beth McLeod. She is tracking the latest in the Weather Center. Beth, more sunshine tomorrow, more cold?
More sunshine and more cold, and we're going to stay that way. So this isn't just a one-day deal. Today brought us sunshine and cold temperatures. Tonight, we're going to be seeing some of the coldest air of the season. Temperatures right now. These are your actual temperatures. Out at Ann Arbor is already down to 13, but Detroit's at 21. Detroit, you'll actually hold on to the 20s till we make it after midnight, but the wind chill is going to make everybody seem even colder. Adrian, you're down to 19. Flint, you're at 18. Pontiac, 18. Lapeer, oh my goodness, you're at 13 degrees. Ooh. So once you take in the temperatures and then you figure out how that wind chill interacts with your skin, the actual feels like temperature, well, when there's a breeze, we're a few degrees off from where we are. So as we go through the overnight hours and into tomorrow, however, tomorrow does come with that sunshine, that bitter cold air, that kind that just kind of wakes you up the minute you step outside, it stays with us all day long. You can see even in the afternoon, we're not even into the 30s for the feels like temperature. But at least, Anne-Marie, it comes with a lot of sunshine. So sunglasses, and you need to layer up to stay warm. I'll let you know when the warm-up begins coming up.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, Beth. 3 people in the hospital tonight after a rollover crash. It happened this morning on I-94 near Telegraph and Taylor. Police say the vehicle was heading east on the freeway with 4 people inside when the driver lost control after falling asleep at the wheel. The car rolled several times in the center median, ejecting 1 passenger onto a westbound lane of 94. The second passenger ejected from the vehicle through the back window. The driver pinned underneath the car. No word on their conditions as of this evening, but police say the front passenger had minor injuries and was the only one wearing a seatbelt. Shots fired at police Friday night in East Point, and tonight a person of interest is in custody. Police say Dion Stanford turned himself in after they gave us a photo asking for help finding him. They say they got a call reporting a man who was armed with a gun at Gratiot and Owen Avenue. Now, when officers arrived, they say a man started shooting at them. Thankfully, no one was hit, but at this point, police aren't sure if Stanford is the person who fired those shots. Well, still to come, caught on camera, a group of men trying to set someone's car on fire, how their plans ended up blowing up in their face. But next, a hero behind the counter. An armed robber walks into a Baskin-Robbins demanding money, how an employee made sure the thief would walk away with a disappointing score.
You're watching 7 Action News, Emmy Award winner for overall excellence and news excellence.
An employee at a Seattle Baskin-Robbins was not going to give in to an armed robber without a fight. The suspect walked into the South Seattle Baskin-Robbins store last month, demanded money, and pulled out a knife. Now, as soon as the worker opened the register, the thief dropped the knife, lunged for the money. That's when the coworker grabbed the weapon and started fighting back. As the two battled it out, the thief manages to grab some money and bolted. He received just $6 to run away with. Well, take a look at this shocking video. You can see a man approaching a car earlier this week in Montreal. He starts to pour liquid inside, and seconds later, someone sets the car on fire. It immediately bursts into flames, knocking over the man before they all take off. Now, police are looking for the 3. They say they're in their 20s and likely have burns on their hands and faces. Well, coming up after the break, severe weather slamming the south. Who's getting hit the worst and where that storm is heading next. Plus, unrest in the streets of Paris. The so-called Yellow Vests sending a strong message to the leaders of France, while more than 100 people sent to the hospital. What they're fighting for and how police are cracking down on those protesters. That's next. France's interior minister says the violence in Paris is under control despite massive protests earlier today. He says just today, 135 people were hurt, including 17 police officers. He's pointing to what they call exceptional police measures that allowed police to arrest nearly 1,000 people. He estimated there were 10,000 protesters in Paris. They are demonstrating against high taxes, stagnant wages, and the rising cost of living. They smashed store windows and set fires around Paris and clashed with police who fired tear gas throughout the day. And special counsel Robert Mueller going after ex-President Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort. In a filing, Mueller says Manafort had previously agreed to cooperate fully with the investigation. Mueller says he ripped up a plea deal with Manafort, saying he lied about his contact with the Trump administration, longtime Ukraine-based business associate. And a professional boxer born and raised in Detroit working to give back to his community tonight. Tony Harrison hosted a toy and grocery giveaway to help Detroit families in need. It took place at Harrison's Super Bad Fitness Gym over on Puritan near Wyoming. The professional boxer says people of all ages are invited to check out his gym.
We have great mothers, we have great fathers that participate on Team Super Bad, and along with that, man, we got kids that's dedicated to sport, and they've been putting in the hard work, man. And all we got to do is coach.
Harrison will be fighting for the WBC Super Welterweight title on December 22nd. We are wishing him the best of luck. Well, tonight in downtown Rochester, a girls' night out for a good cause. LENA SHKRELI and Company Beauty Studio hosted a charitable night benefiting wish child Emily from Rainbow Connection. She's 4 years old and currently in treatment for neuroblastoma. Her wish is to go to Disney World, so salon owner LENA SHKRELI and her staff spent the night giving the full beauty treatment from brows to blowouts, with 100% of the proceeds going toward Emily's trip. And listen to this, it was a success. The night brought Emily to her $10,000 goal, where she says she's looking forward to meeting all of the princesses and dressing up just like them. Now you can still contribute to Emily's trip and help her family out with all of these medical bills. We've put a link to her GoFundMe page on our website, of course. That's WXYZ.com. Wishing Emily all the very best. Take a look at this. Severe weather in Texas. It's making its way across the United States. This is Lubbock, Texas, where they got hit with 8 inches of snow overnight. The heavy snow made for dicey driving on freeways. Thankfully, no reports of injuries just yet. That storm now headed east, taking aim at Virginia and North Carolina. The governors in both of those states declaring emergencies ahead of the storm's arrival. Forecasters saying they could dump up to 18 inches of snow in some areas. Beth, what is so massive about this storm? What's happening there that we're seeing incredible conditions in Texas?
You know what? And it's so south of us. It's so unusual. They're breaking all the records. The good news about some of that footage that we saw is that they had warmer temperatures. So like at least some of the roads got cleared off. You know, clearing off their cars was like one big swoop. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
You don't have to scrape it because it's not super cold. It's just super easy for them to continue on as long as people stayed off the road today. So they'll be back to normal tomorrow, where for us, it lingers. You know that. We get the snow and then it freezes and then it stays there for a couple weeks on end. Now, this is not coming our way. This is super unusual, especially for this time of year. One little footnote, in Charlotte, where they're expecting 8 to 18 inches, the Panthers are actually playing in Cleveland, where they're going to see sunshine. So how about that? Anyways, all of this is heading off towards the east. Raleigh will be up next. Tonight and tomorrow is where they'll be dealing with more snow. Temperatures will start rising tomorrow afternoon, so more rain will come down. This is not coming our way, however, folks, which is great news. We are really cold. We're into the 20s as we go through the overnight hours. It feels like temperatures will be down into the teens. Dangerous stuff. Everyone needs to come inside. Tomorrow, you got your sunglasses, your winter coat, your gloves, your hat, your hot coffee, or your hot chocolate, whatever you want. Anything to keep warm tomorrow, but at least the sun glare is going to be blinding at sometimes, but at least we're not battling any elements besides the cold. Temperatures right now, 21 degrees, winds out of the southwest and the west. At this point, no lake effect, no nothing. We are not tracking anything close by, which is great news. It just makes it a little easier to get out tomorrow as long as you're prepared for the cold. Clear skies overnight tonight. The cloud cover's gone. That would keep us insulated a little bit, but with no cloud cover out there, all that heat just goes up and away. High pressure is in control. That usually clears out of our skies, and it did it nicely. It will be to our east tomorrow, but yet we'll be nice and quiet. That system staying to the south. We stay high and dry. They stay wet and icy. We have no weather concerns except for that cold air. Your feels like temperature when you wake up into the teens. Some areas only at 14 degrees tomorrow. As you go through the afternoon, one thing you will notice is that the wind chill is never going to be above 32 degrees, so it's always going to feel cold tomorrow. Tonight we're down to 18, feeling like about 15 in some spots. Tomorrow we'll be at 36, but only feeling like about 29. So at least a little bit better than today, but not much. Sunshine galore for today and Monday. Into the upper 30s on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Quiet weather days. Matter of fact, a nice quiet pattern. Wednesday, clouds will be on the increase. The latest thing that is new that you probably want to know on Thursday morning, I think that system holds off just enough that I think we get the Thursday morning commute in fine, but Thursday afternoon looks to be a little on the wet side, but wet as in rain, and then we're dealing with rain for Friday and Saturday.
All right, Beth, thank you. Still ahead, the Red Wings reminded the hard way sometimes it's not how you start, but how you finish. Kyle Bogey explains that's next in sports.
Well, the Red Wings fresh off a great win in Toronto on Thursday night. Back home this evening, hoping to win their 4th in 6 tries with the New York Islanders in town. Wings start fast in this one, less than 5 minutes in. Dylan Larkin with a chance. Justin Ablocator finishing Abby's 5th of the year. Second period, Wings up 2-1. They actually had a 2-0 lead in this one. Isles on the power play now, though. Ryan Pullock with a heck of a one-timer to tie it up at 2, heading to the third period. Red Wings can't clear this one, and Cal Clutterbuck, unfortunately, to Matt Martin, that would give New York its first lead of the night. The Wings really unable to pull off a comeback in this one. They've been so good at it recently, but Detroit falling 3-2.
We had an excellent first, played really good hockey, probably could have had more. You know, we just thought that we got bogged down with penalties there. They scored there in the second, and then all of a sudden you take a penalty, you take another penalty, now it's 2-2. So now it's a hockey game. So you have one of two choices, I guess, earlier is score more goals or, you know, don't end up 5-on-3, but that's what happened.
Possibly the two best teams in the Big Ten this year, both Michigan and Michigan State basketball in some out-of-conference action this afternoon. 5th-ranked Wolverines playing host to South Carolina. Jordan Poole, sensational in the second half. Poole wide open for 3. Wolverines up 9. Later in the second half, Poole makes a defender slip, hits the pull-up 3. Poole getting it done inside as well. Drives the lane and gets it to fall. Michigan has now won 23 of its last 24 games thanks to the #1 defense in the country. You see it here. John Teske pushing the ball ahead. Poole finishing with the dunk. Later, Michigan continuing to pull away. Charles Matthews steals the ball. Poole finishes with the reverse layup. Michigan winning it in a tighter one than they've had recently, 89-78. Number 10, Michigan State looking for a road win in Gainesville. Xavier Tillman gets the and one right here on his lay-in. Tillman 6 for 7 for a team-high 14 points today. They needed all of them. Florida keeping it close late. Kyle Ahrens with a nice reverse after good ball movement. Spartan lead up to 6. Under 2 minutes left. Andrew Nembhard drives and hits the clutch lay-in. Florida only down by 2. 20 seconds left. A scramble. Spartans up 2. Shot clock running out. Loose ball. Ahrens gets it and dunks it just in time. They would review it, but it would stand. MSU up 4, and they would hold on to win it 63-59. Now, greatness in New York City tonight for the Heisman Trophy presentation. Many believing it was a foregone conclusion that Alabama's Tua Tagovailoa would take the crown, and myself included. But for a second straight year, the Heisman belongs to Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray, or I should say a Oklahoma quarterback. This time it's Kyler Murray. Last year it was Baker Mayfield. Murray led college football with 51 total touchdowns this season. Tua Tagovailoa finishing second. Ohio State quarterback Dwayne Haskins in third.
Man, this is an honor. Something that, you know, I'll never forget and something I'll always cherish for the rest of my life. You know, I know this is an individual award, but I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my teammates, my family, coaches, and Sooner Nation. So to everybody, I want to say thank you and Boomer.
Ferris State heading to the Division II National Championship for the first time in program history. The Bulldogs beat Minnesota State Mankato 42-25 in the semifinals earlier today. They'll face top-seeded Valdosta State of Georgia on Saturday.
Good job, Bulldogs. That is huge for them, huh?
Right. At least one team can get to a title game this year.
All right, yeah,
right?
we love that. That does it for us tonight. Have a great night. The news is always on WXYZ.com.